Hey, everybody. It's the Golden Girls.
Hello.
Hello.
And here we are.
Are we
wow.
golden?
Right now it says we have, there we go. There we go. We got 12. We got 12.
Yay, we're going to get more.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Hi, Edward. Hi, Marina.
Okay, so we're the Golden Girls. We're talking politics. I'm Cleo the Seer, or Cleo AKA Dorothy from the Golden Girls. And we have a lot to talk about today, and we're really excited because things are falling into place.
Yes.
And it's just very interesting. The headlines today and yesterday and the day before. So, but before we get started, I'd like everybody to be sure, if you haven't subscribed to Shari from the Swamp or Marina, Heart-Centered Tarot, or me, Cleo the Seer,
Yes.
please do subscribe to our channels and like and do all the good stuff that puts the algorithms in the place where we want them to be. And so, like, just I can't wait to talk about this stuff. So
we're all like on pins and needles here waiting to go.
Yeah, right. So
is it my turn? Is it my turn?
The first thing on my list is, Elon, what have you done? What has Mr. Musk done? He does not agree with Trump, and Trump, well, what Trump first said is he just wasn't too happy with what Musk has done. But now they're starting to throw things at each other. And I got to tell you, I mean, out of all those things, I mean, Musk has already said, I put $300 million into this campaign for Trump. I made sure he became president. I made sure that the Republicans held the House and the Senate. And Trump is very ungrateful. Well, I know he's saying that to get back at Trump, but the only thing is what he just did is admit that he manipulated the vote with both money and lies, whatever it took.
Yep.
And the fact that Trump is ungrateful, this is going to be his downfall. I mean, he just, the way he said it, I couldn't believe I was hearing this. I know that we've heard stuff before that looked exactly like that. Musk was saying that he did what he had to do to make sure that this all happened. But the other thing that has come up at the same time this week is I can't remember their names, but the people that are the group that is looking into all the election interference.
Oh, ETA, election something.
So those people, they're now trying to get some stuff into court, and the judges are going to let them do this. And what they're finding is, I read the one about the county in New York.
Yes.
Where they found that
oh yeah.
They looked through all the count, they went through the ballots and stuff, and they found that there was no votes for Kamala Harris. Very few votes for Democrats, but just this onslaught of Republican votes. So they did, I think what they did, I don't know this for a fact, but I think that they may have called people, or they did something to get a hold of the people that voted to find out if anybody voted for Kamala Harris. And indeed they did. So when they found this discrepancy, that's when they went to court and said, they need to do more. They want to recount all the ballots by hand to see what happened. Well, the article I read said they only found 4 or 5, but it doesn't matter. It only matters if they found one. We know there's a problem, because
there was much more than that, because they but part of what stood out for them was that the people who quote unquote voted, they would vote for a Democratic senator, Democratic representative, Democratic this, but for president, no, Republican, if their vote was even counted. So there's definitely the suspicion there. And the group
there's also been places
is
where
Election Truth Alliance. And yeah, they're led by Nathan Taylor. So yeah, look them up.
They've also found proof of, they have found the actual ballots where you have regular on the bottom for all the other positions, and all the tops are empty to be filled in by whoever's at the voting place. Or the opposite, they've also found large groups of ballots where it's just the president and everything else is blank.
Wow.
It's like, who votes for just the president and doesn't vote for their senator and their House representative and their judges and their, whoever else is running?
Yes.
Well, and I know that there's been some other, the other group more towards the West Coast. I don't know if it was Arizona, Nevada, it was, I don't know, but the judge said then they couldn't do anything. And so the fact that another judge over on the East Coast has said, "Oh no, go ahead. Let's see what let's see what you guys come up with," because they have just been working their tails off on this. And if you look at some of the stuff they come up with, they're using all kinds of graphs and logarithms and trying to figure out what happened. And we all know, because we predicted it before we ever heard this stuff, we know what happened. That it was significant election interference, and that Elon Musk was a big part of it, and now he's admitted it. He didn't say specifically, I did this, but he said that he helped make sure Trump got elected, and all the that the Republicans held the House and the Senate. All that stuff seemed to work out. How else would you know to do that if you didn't cheat somehow? So they will find it.
Especially when you own the satellite dish that's calibrating all of this stuff. You've got millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to pay to fix the machines, because from what I heard, the young man from, I forget which group he's from now, and I just posted the link to Christopher Titus' podcast. He had this young guy on, and it was 2 full podcasts just to get all the information out. It was just amazing. But he said, what they also found was, they've not only found the fraud, but they were able to replicate it to show how they did it. They tried to do it in 2020, but they didn't set their parameters right to trigger the vote flipping. Because what happened was they set their parameters at a certain level. And if you go in and look at the graphs of how the voting happened that day, it's like looking normal, and then it hits a certain percentage, and all of a sudden, everything just goes, flips over. It's like everything on Kamala drops below the line, everything for Trump goes above the line. We're going all the way up to that percentage point. It was the opposite, or it was more in the middle, kind of up and down with both of them. And they were able to compare it with Russian elections and how they do it, and with a couple of the other recent elections that they've already said it was an illegitimate election, and they're redoing their elections in Poland and what was the other country, Marina? You said the other night.
Bulgaria.
I remember. Bulgaria. This stuff is really, this is serious. I mean, because they not only manipulated it, paid people off to vote a certain way, paid people off to dump ballots that were coming in and use the fixed ballots instead. But they were also able to get into the machines and compromise them. And the way
Yep.
they did it was the machines supposedly are not online during the election process. But in the mornings, they have like their little thumbnail or floppy drive or whatever they use, and they have to like update it for that day. And they go in and they input that into the machine. So that gets inputted into the machine was online. And that's how they were able to go in and corrupt that so that it put that algorithm in the machine that as it started counting votes, when it got to certain levels, it kicked it in and everything starts flipping.
Yeah.
And
there was over 200 bomb threats called into predominantly Democratic areas the day of the election. And that, that 200.
What happens when a bomb threat gets called in? They shut that place down. And then the voters who, if they decide they're going to go vote anyway, they've got to find another place to go vote and then get there. So, and there were no bombs found in any of the places where there were bomb threats called in.
No, and they were all, one of the things that that this Nathan said was that all the threats came in by email, and all the threats were based on IP addresses and so on that came out of Russia. Go figure.
Yeah.
Go figure. I know. You can't make this stuff up. That's why.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
So Rose Blue says Clark County, Nevada. I could not remember if it was Nevada or one other place or Arizona. So thank you for that. And that's where the judge said they couldn't do what they wanted to do. And again, it's been a week or two ago, so it's hard for me to remember because so much has happened in between time. But yeah,
Who's
some
having fun
judges
with the cupboards?
Huh?
Somebody's having fun with the cupboards or the drawers.
Oh, sorry, that's on my end. Yeah.
Oh, tell them do they not know that you're doing the show?
Hey, he barbecued tonight. I'm not gonna fuss.
Oh,
I'm gonna go eat me some barbecue after the show.
Sorry.
Okay, so somebody asked here, will Trump deport Musk for this? No.
No, Musk will be long gone before Trump has a chance.
Before he has a chance to do that. I don't think Musk is all that afraid of Trump. I think everybody else is, but Musk is not an elected official. Yes. And, I know the first thing Trump did is say, oh, I don't think we have billions of dollars to give to Musk for his Tesla project or his SpaceX project or whatever it was. And so, he's really playing with fire here. Musk acts like, well, he is an addict. So he's, you can't really tell where he's going to come from. But if he gets too high and he reads one of these things that Trump says, he'll be like, okay, hey, no, here we go. Exactly. And he will have something to say. I'm really looking forward to whatever response or whatever arguments they get into in the next week or two, because it should be very, very telling. And Musk, I'm kind of surprised, what he was trying to do is make sure that this big, beautiful or big, ugly bill doesn't go through. So, he's trying, he obviously, when he did the thing with Doge, he's trying to actually help the country. Although he doesn't know what he's doing, and he also is working for Trump at the time. And so Trump was just like, hey, go for it. You cut this, cut that, throw this out. Oh yeah, let's dive into the computer system, Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. And so, Musk really was trying to find ways to cut things. But then when this big bill came out, he's like, no, and he has told everybody this bill is not a good thing.
I think Yeah,
Go ahead.
in a lot of ways, Musk is against the bill because there were some things that he wanted in there that the Republicans didn't put in. So he pitched a fit and said, yeah, no, this is a bad bill. So Trump responds in kind and, oh, I don't know what Elon's doing. It must have been a misunderstanding, blah, blah, blah. Musk doubles down and says, well, listen, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have won the election. So Trump comes back with, well, maybe one of the ways that we can save a lot more money through Doge is maybe we'll just cancel all of Elon Musk contracts. Musk comes back with, oh, I don't think that's a really good idea because, there's information out there about you and Epstein, and that's why you're not releasing the files. And so this is two boys who are fighting over the same piece of cake. And they are in their desire to have the last word and punch the guy harder. We just have to sit back because they are destroying themselves in the process. And Musk is going to be able to come out and say, no, look, this is, yes, I got him elected and this is how I did it. And this is what I did. But he'll be, he'll be well out of the U.S. And if the U.S. says, well, we're revoking your citizenship, oh, yeah, well, what the hell? I don't care. Right? Yeah. He's very selfish. And then today, earlier today, what else could he possibly do? He put he put something up on X saying, hey, who thinks that we should have another political party in the US that is concerned about the 80% of the people who are in the middle? And I thought, oh, for the love of you know who. Like all of a sudden now you've been on a destructive bend for months, and now you're going to come across as the savior, as the hero?
Yeah, I don't think so. That's not going to happen. I posted the link for the part 1 and part 2 with Christopher Titus. That was the podcast that I listened to. Plus, I posted the link. It's Election Truth Alliance is the name of the group that he had on. And I posted their link because they're a nonprofit. So they operate when people donate money to help them out. So if you got a few bucks, go send it to them. There are several other groups that are doing the same thing. Go send them a couple of bucks, whatever it's going to take for us to get this information out to the point that it cannot be ignored and it cannot be wished away, that people are going to be like, okay, something's got to be done. Because at this point, what guarantees me the next election I go vote in is even going to make a difference? Because you've got somebody with satellite coverage and money and information on the machines that can just go in and make it whatever they want, Yep. And the only reason why it didn't work in the 2020 election was because they didn't set their parameters correctly. Yeah. But they saw the same results once those parameters were hit. It was just too little, too late to change the election. And that's why Trump was so convinced that, he knew the election was rigged because he was the one that rigged it.
Exactly.
Exactly. So,
So the Dems had a taco truck parked outside the gates of the White House.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Rose. I haven't heard that yet, but that's perfect.
I love the reporter that asked Trump the other day what he felt about the financial district had started calling him Taco, which stands for Trump always chickens out.
Yeah.
That's what the taco stands for. And he got furious and attacked this woman
Yes.
Like she was the one that came up with it, and it was I was like, oh my God,
Oh, and
dude.
that was a nasty, nasty question.
Yes.
How dare you
Yes.
ask me such a thing? That's a
Yes.
nasty question.
Casino Vixen says, is Musk doing this because he wants to get ahead of what Anonymous has? I
Yep.
think so.
I think that's pretty spot on. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And just to give you a little bit of humor here, okay? I was telling the girls before we went live, and I'm just going to clean up the language a little bit, but I saw a brief video of a guy who is talking to a friend or employee, whatever you want to call it, and behind this this other person was a picture of Air Force One, and he said, "Okay, which one of you MFers decided to change the name to Panda Express because it carries orange chicken?"
That's
Crack
beautiful.
me up. Crack me up.
That is beautiful.
Yes. I love that. And then something else that I heard today has been one of those days, you know?
Yeah.
Like
it was
Christmas.
like,
yeah. Apparently, and this apparently happened about a month ago, and I didn't hear about it until today, that Miss Carolyn, leave that, because that's what I generally say to the dog when she tries to go after something and I don't want it to touch it. I'll say, leave it.
Right.
So Carolyn, leave it, was in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, about a month ago. And she went into a Tim Hortons, which a Tim Hortons for us is like your Dunkin' Donuts. It's a chain across Canada, and they've got great coffee. And everybody knows, you know, when you say double double, everyone knows that that's 2 sugar, 2 cream in your coffee at Tim Hortons. Well, apparently, she was in Canada for some reason doing some kind of whatever she was doing up here. It doesn't matter. Okay, so she goes into Tim Hortons and she overhears a conversation when 2 people are discussing climate change and Mark Carney. And she apparently rolls her eyes and says, Mark Carney? That man couldn't balance a checkbook, let alone, you know, anything financial. That got everybody started. So somebody in there told her that, you know, yeah, you don't come here making fun of Mark Carney. Okay? You don't do that. Well, he's a liberal, blah, 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 blah. So the manager comes over and says, hello, lower your voice. Okay? We're not going to do that. Lower your voice. She carried on. So the manager
who was this?
said,
MTG?
Carolyn.
Oh, Carolyn.
Yeah, Carolyn, leave it. Yeah. And the manager apparently said, we don't do that up here. This is a private establishment. You're being asked to leave. And threw her out. Yes. Yes. So, yeah.
See, they have gotten so used to having most of America cowed that they can say what they want. But if anyone speaks out against it or says, excuse me, we don't tolerate that here.
Yes.
They can just blow it all out of proportion and have everyone backing them. They're not used to being told, no, you cannot behave that way in public.
Exactly.
Not here, not in this country, not in this town, not in this establishment.
Yeah. Well, she was really upset and said something about, well, you know, this is all about free speech. Yes, sweetheart. And the people that were there telling you what they thought of you were also exercising their right to free speech.
Yeah.
So in this question, is Musk doing what he's doing because he wants to get ahead of Anonymous? Actually, personally, I don't believe that that's why he's doing it. I really think that he thought he put in a good job of doing everything he could do to find ways to eliminate departments, eliminate any excess spending. I think he was serious about what he was trying to do. I just don't think he was qualified to be doing it. I don't think it should have been done the way it had been done, but it was making Trump happy. So when Trump comes up with a bill that not only he just totally discounts everything Musk did. And so, you know, and we're finding out within 10 years or something under this bill, we will have such a huge deficit. I mean, he's, you know, one thing I've said about Trump is he's trying to bankrupt the country, and that's exactly what this bill will do.
Yes.
So, no, I don't think, you know, it has that much to do with Anonymous. I think it has to do with Musk kind of feeling his ego's been bruised a bit because he did go out of his way. He did put a lot of time and effort into it. Although I don't, you know, most people don't agree with what he was doing. Trump did agree with it to his face, but then turns around and does something else that totally discounts it. So that's what I think.
Yeah.
And if anybody agrees or disagrees, please.
I threw a couple of cards on it. The first one I got was unexpected results, followed by new rules, policies, and laws, and ending with distraction and illusion.
Yes.
Because
Perfect.
that's at this point, most of what they're going to be doing is going to be distractions and illusions with a lot of truth coming out in the middle of all of it. But it's going to be trying to point the finger at everybody else but them and saying, I was the victim here. We all know that's Donald's MO is he's the horrible victim that everyone takes advantage of and no one is fair to him and he doesn't get any special rights. It's like, do I gag now or gag later as you're recounting this fiction? You know, it's
Well, and because Biden has done such a horrible job, that's Trump's other thing is Biden has done
Yeah.
a horrible job. Biden actually cut into this spending thing and he corrected what did he do? He ended up saving over $1 trillion, but it's still
several trillion dollars.
Oh, is it several trillion? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I don't know how.
he did the right thing, and then so Trump comes in and just turns everything chaotic, and he's just making such a mess out of things. And for him, you know, for him to come up with this kind of a bill and tell them you've got to pass this, and he's pushing for it. He's really pushing hard for it. So, Marina, did you have something on your mind?
Yes, I was going to say that I heard him say today, particularly when it came to Elon, was that it was Biden is responsible for all the things that Elon has done. Biden.
Even though Biden's been dead since 2020 and it's just a cloned robot that's in his place.
What?
Yes. Did you hear about that?
He put that out on X or on his Truth Social.
Yes.
Yesterday, day before yesterday, that Biden was actually dead. He was killed back in 2020.
Executed in 2020.
And that they put in a robotic double to fill his shoes.
Oh my God.
That's why he used that auto pen or whatever so often. Yeah.
The thing that Trump uses every time he signs.
Oh, brother. Yeah. Oh, brother. Oh.
It's
just God.
I know that
it's like you can't make this crap up, man. I mean,
well, I thought you were making it up. Quite honestly, I hadn't heard this.
The first time I read it, I thought I was reading something from the Onion, and then I realized no, it was from the New York Times. Oh my God!
Oh,
God. Yeah. And I did pull a few cards. Is Elon doing this to get ahead of Anonymous? I got mounting tension. So there's something around him that he doesn't like. This is a power shift in that he's seeing that his power is waning and it's cutting into his seeds of prosperity because let's face it, he doing what he did in the White House, he was lining his own pockets. Okay. And it's now giving him disappointing results. So he's not able to do what what he wanted to do. And I do think that to some extent, yes, he is trying to, yeah, succession plan. He is trying to get ahead of whatever Anonymous has. And just,
I've got
yeah, take
consequences, damage done.
Yeah.
Is what I pulled. And then I got the greater good.
Yeah.
So in the long run, it's going to be for the greater good, but getting there is another story altogether.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I really think that what they're going to be coming up with is what Trump and Musk will be throwing barbs at each other.
Yes.
That it's going to be so telling, and they're both so stupid to be saying these things, because it really puts them in the hot seat. And I just see that, you know, what I've seen all along. I don't know that Musk is going to jet off to another country. I don't think he's thinking that way, because I just don't think he is. He's really goofy. And, you know, and the other report that came out within the last week, I believe, was, you know, that we now know that he is definitely a drug addict. And that all the time when he's up there with the chainsaw and he's up there dancing around like a circus monkey, that he is higher than hell. And he's, you know, and he's going to slip up. He's going to, I know, I feel it, you know, he's going to read something that Trump says and say, oh, wait, okay, this is where the shit hits the fan, and I'm going for it. You know,
he was asked if he thought that Trump should be impeached, and he gave a one-word answer: yes.
Yes.
I didn't know that either.
I just pulled volcano mountains, and we currently have a couple of volcanoes that are going off, like Kilauea, whatever it is, in Hawaii. Then I pulled taken by force, and I agree with Arthur in that he's always seen Trump being taken out on a gurney with being handcuffed to the gurney. And it's like, yeah, I see them literally picking his fat ass up and hauling him out. And then I got social media. They are going to have a field day with this.
Yes. Yes.
That's a good one, Mary.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for supporting what we do. And don't forget to do the thumbs up on the video, and you know, show Cleo and Shari some love. Do the like, share, and subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. Subscription is free. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because I tend to get engrossed in what we're talking about and forget about all the other stuff.
Yes.
As you can tell, I haven't been totally watching the news. I've kind of been trying to steer clear of it. And then when this good stuff came up, I thought, well, finally, instead of me trying to second guess and continually asking my guides when, what, where, who, when's it going to happen? You know, they're not talking to me about that right now. They're saying stuff like, oh, wait till you hear this.
Yes. You thought that was bad? Hold my beer.
They keep saying everything you've been talking about, it's coming. Yes. It's coming right now. And so, yeah, I'm so thrilled about that, because I thought, I don't know. I mean, I've known about this for so long that I start to think maybe I just wasn't getting it right.
Yes.
Well, I was getting it right, but the timing and when things were happening back in October, November, December, I thought, was that it? No, that wasn't it. And I'm like, okay, well, did I get it wrong? And they're like, oh, just don't worry about it.
Well, look how we beat ourselves up after November 5th, whatever date it was. And because we were all in shock as well, because we all very clearly saw what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. And I mean, I can remember everybody just like, how did I miss it? How did I look at what spirit was showing me and the exact opposite came out? How is that possible?
Yeah.
And then we kept getting the answers as we questioned it, as people questioned us. And there were some really ugly comments that were
Yes.
spewed out to a lot of us, you know.
Yeah.
In that process, you know, a lot of us were, I mean, we were not only taking a beating from those watching us who they felt betrayed. Well, we felt betrayed because we were like, this is not what you've been telling me that I've been sharing with my folks for so long. How did I miss this? How did I get this wrong? Well, a lot of it is because there's free will. And when you have free will, you have people with money and the ability to make things happen their way. You know,
under their timeline, because really
yeah.
we were not wrong, but at the time the things that were happening, it just didn't feel like it fit right. And yes, you know, people were disappointed, and so they blamed us. And I really don't blame them for feeling that way. I mean, you know, we're just psychics on here trying to figure out what's going on. But, you know, we're also angry about how this turned out, that it, you know, you want to blame somebody.
Yes.
And so it's okay that it went that way, because now I really see, plus I am so glad that I always stuck with my guides no matter what.
Yes.
Because my guides never ever lead me in the wrong direction. But they can't tell me, well, we're not talking about today or tomorrow, we're talking about 6 months from now, because then I would have been totally confused. And they don't actually use terminology like that, because there is no 6 months where they're at.
Time for them is just so different than time for us. I mean, we're on a linear time. That's the 3D world, and there is no concept of that where they are. You know, that's why when somebody says, is such and such going to happen soon, it's like, well, soon is very, very heady up there, because what you think is soon, spirit may think is 10 years from now. That's soon for them. You know, so it makes it difficult to try to help. I mean, and some people will get timelines or timing fairly quickly and easily. That's part of their gift that they have. And then there's the rest of us that are like, I have no freaking clue. I mean, I see snow. Okay, so maybe it happens in the wintertime. Either that or you're up on the top of a mountain somewhere. I don't know which. You know, and it could be the dead of summer. But I mean, there were a lot of upset people. I can't blame them for being upset, because we were upset ourselves.
Absolutely.
We felt like we had failed people, because we felt like, how did I misread this? And it's more comforting now after they kept telling us, you didn't, just be still. It's going to all come out. And of course, we're just like everybody else, but we want to know now why this happened. And it just took a while. Very good, Patrick. Thank you.
Yes, Patrick, thank you for that.
It just took a while for us to come to the conclusion that, okay, it happened because of actions and reactions from people in their free will to purposefully do things wrong. And
yes,
we didn't get it wrong.
A test of faith. Yes,
it was. Absolutely. It was. Yeah, I can agree with that. Completely.
And there was a lot of readers who almost immediately put out apology videos. You know, because they were blaming themselves, thinking that they had misinterpreted something that was coming in. And it wasn't, we didn't misinterpret anything. We got it right. And this kind of now almost feels like validation. Kind of like, you know, you want to sit back and go, told you.
Exactly.
That's the way I feel about it.
I mean, I remember I put out a video like 2 days after the election. I couldn't do it the next day. I was too distraught. But I was on my lunch break sitting in the car, and it was like 2 days later, and I thought,
Yeah.
And they were talking to me, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna do this. And
Yeah.
it was there were a lot of people were very concerned about my mental well-being. Are you going to be okay? Are you all right? Are you upset? It was like, I'm good. I'm just pissed, like everybody else. But there were some who questioned, well, you didn't apologize for giving us the wrong information. Well, because I didn't give you the wrong
Give you
information.
the wrong
I
information.
gave you what I was told. That's what I gave you, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Now, different results happened. Why that is, I don't know. I haven't been shown that yet, but I've been told that it will come out. And
Well,
so,
the timing on this, I
Yes.
mean,
yeah,
most everybody I've heard, the psychics on here, they were absolutely right, but our timing was off. And so I kept bringing that up. We just don't know the timing. But
Yes.
I didn't, I would make a prediction of something that is happening right now back in October.
Yes.
And I just, I'm adding logic to a psychic prediction, something you should never ever do.
Yes.
Because it's not logical. But
exactly.
and now I see all these things happening now, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I said. But when did I say that? And I've got to think back. I mean, it was a long time ago,
Yes.
months and months
I've
ago.
had to go back and rewatch some of the videos that I did right after the event and everything, because I'm like, I know I said that. Didn't I say that? I thought I said that. I had to go back and rewatch and be like, oh, I did say this. I did say to expect this. Okay. Because I just don't remember after I do a reading. It's gone, So unless I go back and rewatch, I have no clue what I've said to somebody. I mean, just like I've had people that have emailed me or messaged me and said, you said da 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 da, da, and that's exactly how it happened. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I have no clue if that's what I said, but if you said that I said that, then I believe you, So, but I have no memory of it, which can be kind of disconcerting sometimes, because you're like, did I really say that? I mean, I've gone back and watched something from a month ago and sat back and thought, I don't remember saying that. I don't even remember having that conversation with anybody.
Right. And
But there it is on tape. So,
this thing with Trump and Musk right now, I can see that, like, right now, I love where it's going because it's just blowing up. But I can see all of a sudden maybe they have a reconciliation. Maybe they come to terms somehow. And so then you're thinking, well, what did happen? This is the gaslighting of the Trump administration. They're just constantly doing this stuff to make, just logically, you don't have to be psychic, but just when you see the news and you think something's happening, and then Trump turns around and does something else that you're just not prepared for. Well, this really makes people crazy. And so really pay attention to this gaslighting, because that is what it's designed for. It's designed to make you doubt yourself. It's designed to put you into fear. And it's to make us not trust each other.
Yes.
And so far,
or ourselves.
I have seen, or yourself, of course. But, one thing I have noticed here on YouTube is that the chatters and the psychics and stuff, we have gotten to a point where we do trust each other, and we know that we make mistakes. But in the end, as you see, we've been talking about May and June being some very big things going on. And I mean, we're barely into June, and it just went boom. It's all happening right now.
How do you
I was
like
seeing
so
the end of summer. I was seeing more like late August, beginning of September, thinking around Labor Day, something big's going to blow up. And maybe something still is big going to blow up. Who knows?
Well, I mean, this is the beginning of the end. So this is where all this stuff accumulates, and they're going to finally say, okay, this is what happened in the election. Trump needs to be arrested. And this is where Trump gets on his brand new Air Force One from as a gift, as gifted Air Force One.
Qatar. Yeah, Qatar.
And flies to, Yeah, flies to Saudi Arabia and or heads down to Qatar and meets up with his new friends where he is making billions of dollars in cryptocurrency. And again, I've said this over and over. I don't understand how this works, but I am wondering if he is not borrowing a little bit of money, which would be a lot, from the United States and using that to fund his cryptocurrency to get it moving. Because you need something of value to get that thing going on. So, I mean, you know, and we keep hearing he's making billions and billions of dollars. It's just disgusting.
Absolutely.
He is going to get caught in all of the crap he's been doing, and he will be removed from office. Hopefully,
I have very clearly seen them literally pick him up and haul him out. When he lost in 2020 to Biden, and there was an interview with one of the Secret Service who had left the service after that happened.
Yeah.
And they asked him, well, what was his reaction? He said, well, he kept telling us, no, he wasn't leaving. He wasn't going anywhere. He said, and we finally had to go in and say, sir, you will leave or we will pick you up and carry you out the door. Your choice. You know, so, and I don't know how many of the Secret Service and the DOJ today are still ethical enough to do that and say, you're out, go, or I'm going to haul your butt out. But my visions I keep getting are seeing him literally picked up in a chair and hauled out the door. It's like, yeah, you can chain yourself to the damn chair. I don't care. You and the chair are out, you know, and and it's like, I would love to actually see that. It's because the vision, it was wonderful. It was like, I sure hope that's on CNN and MSNBC, on Fox News, you know, I mean, it's just.
And when Rose says to hear the foreign countries gave money to his crypto, yes, they're all in cahoots. They're all trying to turn this crypto thing into international currency.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but the only thing is it does take something to give it value. And so even if they give money to him, he's still got to come up with some. I'm just wondering, you know, he's taking jobs away from everybody. He's closed down one department after another. He should be saving so much money month to month. I mean, just
we're more broke now than we were before he started.
Yeah, and so where the hell is it? Where is that money? And I just think partly, I think he's just holding on to it because he knows he can get away with that. Nobody's looking at his bank account.
No, he's been funneling it to all over the place, and you know, and doing weird and wonderful things with it. And
you know,
yes, thank you, Edward. Yeah, did you see Edward at 7:48? I just saw this quote on
this one.
Yeah, on Insta. 2 grown men squabbling like heartbroken lovers. Please spare me. The women are too emotional.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you, Edward. Thank you. That exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Yeah, exactly. And Grace Gilbert, I'm with you. She says, I don't even understand crypto. I don't either. How can you own something that is imaginary? It costs you money to buy something imaginary. And then you can buy other imaginary things with the imaginary money. Can I pay for it with Monopoly money? Like, will anyone take Monopoly money? I can do that.
And it's about the same thing.
It's about the same thing.
Monopoly money is probably worth more.
Yes.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, they claim that it's worth a lot of money. And I'm like, how can you take something that it's not tangible. You can't hold on to it.
Yes.
It's a graphic or something on a computer screen.
Yes.
You know,
and it's not regulated. It's not there. You know, if I
Rossi
have a
says,
money transfer to someone and it doesn't go through, I can call the bank and say, hey, on this day, I transferred X number of dollars to so and so. They haven't received it. Look into it. And there's a paper trail. Crypto, there is no paper trail. There's no one there to regulate it. So it's
I like what Rossi said. Crypto is for laundering money.
money.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, you can't hold air in your hand. Like, yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah.
I
So,
love your kitty cat.
oh, yes, that's a cute kitty. Yes.
And there's Rossi's kitty cat. There's another pretty one. All these black cats. Can't
Yes.
tell me we don't have some witches in this group.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, phantom money. I would love to be able to pay my bills with phantom money. And say,
Wouldn't that be nice?
yeah, here, I made my own. It's called crypto. It's called Marina bucks. So I've converted the bill into Marina bucks. Here you go. There's your payment, paid in full. Yeah.
Well, you know, and it reminds me of when I can't remember which administration was talking about that we were coming up with money that we didn't really have. We didn't
Yes.
have the gold to back it up.
Yes.
And we called that funny money.
Yes.
Because you know, if you
They just
keep
go print it.
dealing,
Yeah.
if you keep dealing in funny money, that's when you come into recessions and depressions, and it's a big problem. You just are not, you can't do that because it just screws up the whole economy. When you try to say,
Exactly.
well, here's $100 bill, but there's nothing in the
There's nothing to back it
Fort
up.
Knox
Yes.
or wherever, nothing to back it up. And I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
keep thinking cryptos feels to me like the same kind of thing.
That's one of the
Exactly.
worst mistakes this country ever made. Was it back in the 20s, the 30s, maybe the 40s? I don't remember, when they literally took the dollar bill off of the gold standard.
Yeah.
And we just print money when we need it. Well, that's
Right.
nice,
It
but
used to be called
that
a
$10
silver.
bill is no longer worth $10. It takes $100 to buy what that $10 used to buy. I mean,
Well, they used
you
to have
know,
a dollar bill or a $2 bill that was called a silver certificate, meaning
yeah, I've got one.
there was silver there.
Yes.
There's silver there that backed that up. That's not true today.
No.
You don't see
Yeah.
that on there.
I've got one. It was my grandfather's. He had a silver certificate that he had bought
Yes.
way back in the day, and I've got it somewhere. I don't even know where it's at. It's
Yes.
packed in a box somewhere.
Yep. Absolutely. So yes, and Reagan removed the U.S. off of the gold standard because the U.S. dollar was backed by gold. So we printed X number of dollars, and what are you backing that up? It's like you go apply for a loan, and they say, where's your collateral? What have you got that in case you don't
I've
pay?
got the Marina meme.
That's
Marina
right.
coin.
Yes.
That's all I need.
Yes, exactly. So, was it Nixon? Well, yeah, I know it was fairly recent that that they took it off the gold standard. So, really, there's not a whole lot there to back it up, and the Orange Menace is just making it worse. But oh man, folks. In entertainment purposes only, in case we haven't said this, what are we doing? We're just chatting and tossing cards. There will come a day when we are going to be reading his obituary. It will come. Trust me, it will come.
Whose obituary?
The Orange Menaces.
Oh. I heard somebody else talking about something like that, saying that somebody thinks that he's not going to survive another year or two.
No.
Personally, I don't ever make predictions about death for anybody. I just don't do that. But I keep hearing that, but I keep hearing about he's going to get sick and he's going to have this and that was going way back to last year, like last summer, especially. And I haven't seen that really happening. We keep talking about his dementia, and I'm thinking, how does he keep functioning?
He
Oh, you'd
doesn't.
be amazed at how well they are able to pretend in a lot of respects that they've got it all under control. And it's not until you really start looking and realize they don't have a clue what they're doing. They're just mimicking what they've seen other people do, and they do it to a level that they convince people that there's nothing wrong with them. I watched my mother do it for years before we realized just how bad her dementia was. And she became
And he's
quite
not.
adept at it. I mean, even her doctors were fooled, and they're the professionals, you know. And then it just got to where she couldn't pull it off anymore, you know. And we were like, oh, holy crap,
Yeah,
she's a
right
lot more
now, no
further
one
down the road than we thought, you know. So
no one in the media is calling him on the BS. Everyone is concerned about keeping him, don't upset him, don't upset him. So when he comes up with things like today when he met with the chancellor of Germany, and he was answering
what a
some
disaster.
questions, from the reporters that were there. And someone asked him about, was he thinking about putting sanctions on Russia? And his response was, well, this is like two kids fighting in the playground. Sometimes you just got to let them fight it out. And yeah, I could put sanctions in, done on both sides. And the reporter said, well, do you have a timeline or whatever? I have a date in my brain. I have a date in my brain. And then he was asked something
I
else,
think RFK Jr.'s worm found a new home.
I think so. Yes. And and then there was something else that he said. The answer was, well, because I had a conversation with the human mind. I had a conversation with the human mind. Are you even kidding me? Like, this is Looney Tunes. But everyone sits back and no one says, hey,
And
dude,
that's what
medication.
really gets under my skin, is that he is doing and saying the most off the wall crap that if it came out of anybody else's mouth, they would be nailed to the wall. The press would be all over them. People would be demanding answers. But everybody's like, oh, it's just Donald. He must be upset today. It's like, bullshit.
Yep.
He's crazy.
Exactly.
I did a deep dive 2 weeks ago with Nate, and I like accidentally channeled down into him deeper than I meant to. And I'm telling you, it's really, really squirrely in there.
Yes.
I couldn't get out fast enough. I'd never done that before. That was kind of a new experience for me. And I was like, holy smokes. I don't know. I was freaking out. Poor Nate was like, yeah, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. I was tripping, man. I'm telling you, it just blew me away.
Yep.
Okay, so this question here about, was 45 threatened to punish Ukraine and or Russia if they don't stop fighting? Will he officially pick sides and try to send military aid to Putin? We are kind of getting towards the end of the show here, but I did want to address this. And
I think in the end,
I think he threatened stuff. He just threatened stuff, and probably doesn't actually make a difference.
Taco. That's all I'm going to say is taco.
Putin is not afraid of him. Putin is not afraid of him. He's not afraid of anything he can do, because he's got enough dirt on him that if he even attempted to really do something, he would drop. Boom.
You know, and on the other hand, let's give a little 3 cheers for Ukraine kicking ass lately.
Yes. Oh, what?
Where they just bombed
controlled puppet. There you go. He is Putin's controlled puppet. I'm sorry, Cleo, keep going.
No, that's great. I like that. But yeah, I mean, Ukraine looked at Trump like, okay, now what do you got to say? you know?
Exactly.
Who's holding the cards now?
Exactly. Yes,
Exactly.
I loved it. I just loved it. You know, I don't like to see. I
And
don't like to see war go out of control like this. But Ukraine has taken such a beating, and
but there
Trump
was no loss of control. It was
no.
so well planned out. It
Yes.
was like,
Exactly.
holy smokes. I mean, they went to levels of
Yes.
subterfuge to get to this that when they opened the tops of those trucks or
Yes.
train cars or whatever it
Yes.
was and released the drones, who were all, no civilians were hit.
Exactly.
This
Exactly.
was
You don't
precision.
bomb
And then
civilians.
2 days later, they had their Navy people down in the water under the main bridge that Moscow runs their military back and forth on, and took out its support systems in the water under the bridge. Now they
Yes.
can't go across that bridge.
Huh.
And it's like, who's
I know.
crying now? I mean,
Yeah. It's like what's next? What's next? And I'm pretty confident that yeah, Putin and a lot of people in Russia are they're looking over their shoulder. They don't know where the next hit is going to come from. And by the way, did you hear that, because there was 40% of their high level planes were taken out, that the commander of the Air Force or whatever, he had an accident. You're not going to believe this, but he fell out a window.
I'm telling you, those Russians, I don't know what's wrong with them. They get up there in the windows and just
Is that for
public
real,
life
Marina?
burnout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Public life burnout.
Yep.
Future time they're running out of,
Yes.
and disappointing outcome.
Yeah.
No matter what he does, it's not going to come out the way he wants it to.
No, it's not.
Well,
And yes, Grace Gilbert, it was
military
apparently
plane comes up
18
again.
months in the planning, and no, did not say anything to Trump. I certainly wouldn't have said anything to him, because the first thing that he's going to do after you tell him is, "Hey, Vlad, guess what?" So no,
Yeah.
no. I think Zelensky might have told Biden, and Biden said, "I heard nothing. I know nothing. I didn't hear anything. You just do what you have to." So
Yeah.
there's more.
And when the rest of NATO started filling up the coffers over in Ukraine and said, hey, you do what you think is necessary.
Yes.
They took all the guardrails off of Zelensky and said, it's your country. Here's your stuff. You do what you think is best.
Yes.
So
And I'm telling you, yeah.
thank you, Rose Blue, for the $2. That's very kind of you.
Oh, that's sweet of you, Rose.
And I love this here. I'd love to be
Hey,
in
Jeffro.
Kamala to feel the mood with her when she's sitting there right now watching this. I love it that somebody brought this up, because Kamala's been watching all of this. She knows what the hell's going on. She knows that the election wasn't right. She knows that. Well, and you've seen the little shorts that they have of her coming out and saying all these things. She predicted she should be the psychic. I mean,
yes.
She is psychic. That's why she's always been so successful.
Yeah.
She is psychic. Very strongly so, whether she admits it or not. But,
so anyway, I loved that was that's the way it came out. So anyway, we're a little bit past an hour, and since the show starts so late, we kind of limit it to an hour. Thank you, all the chatters. Thank you for the great questions, for the great input, because that's really, I mean, for me, I depend on that. Because you guys are so much more informed than I am, and then I learn so much from this show, and it's so great working with Shari and Marina, and the Golden Girls lives on.
Yes,
absolutely.
And
we love working with you.
Yes. Did either one of you have any final words before we head out of here?
Sleep nice tonight.
Yes. Yeah. Enjoy the mood.
You deserve it.
Enjoy
Yes,
the
enjoy the mood.
Yes.
Go crack a beer, drink a glass of champagne, Coca-Cola, whatever. Just,
Yes.
go to bed with a smile on your face tonight, thinking, yeah, it's coming
It's
down.
happening. This is
It's
what
happening.
we've been waiting for. It is beginning to happen, and we've got proof of it now. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's a great day. Marina, was there anything you wanted to add?
No, that was it. Thank you for hosting this particular episode of Golden Girls. I love doing this because it gives us a chance to kind of get into the muck a little bit. But oh man, it is. I just want to clap and I just want to do the happy dance.
Yeah,
Right?
me too.
And we
Me
got
too.
polyterology tomorrow night, so we'll be able
We
to do it some
we
more.
do. We got
That's
polyterology
right.
coming up tomorrow night.
Yes.
So be sure and tune in for that one. It should be
Yes.
just as much fun as this one was today.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Thanks again, everybody. And we will see you in about 2 weeks, I think.
In 2 weeks' time on the 19th, and we'll be on my channel. So
Yay!
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
bye
Bye.
for now.